Howdy folks, thanks for joining me, Justin here, and today we are going to do another thing like we did a few last week where we challenged a player to 3 matches. This week we are playing against Hyranic, and we are going to be playing the Indiana Jarls deck, which is one that I am working on. Is it the next scout deck? I don't know. We will see. He is choosing 3 different decks that he is going to play, and I do not know what they are. And we are going to see how this works out. Hyranic's a great player. He's done a lot of work with purple-red in particular. And this deck is trying to get maximum value out of Triumphant Jarl and Golden Saint. So we're going to see how this works, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. We have some people who have asked for Crusader decks, and I've been working on them for a little while now, and I'm not satisfied yet, but it's getting to a point where it needs field research that I can't do in the casual rooms anymore. There's a small potential for a charge 2/2 bat with drain, so we're putting Rift Thane over here in the shadow lane. Next turn, Goblin Pyromancer looks pretty weak no matter where we put it, so... Oh, Fighter's Guild Recruit's pretty brutal. At least we have the breakthrough, so we will get some damage in. Withered Hand Cultist is one of the reasons we're playing this deck. We're going to go ahead and break the rune. This is a very aggressive deck. We're just going to keep throwing things in the shadow lane to avoid the potential for charged creatures coming out of green. Withered Hand Cultist is pretty strong against Mage, and that is why we are playing it. Seems like a great Earthbone Spinner target, but just in case it's not, we're going to attack first. Gives us an answer to a another one of those. Well, thank you. Just in case he drops another one of those 1/2 guard lethal creatures. Nice. Okay. And there's the bat we were trying to avoid, so that was a good call on our part. Pretty dull turn, not playing the Pyromancer. You know, him playing yellow means that he could be running Imperial Reinforcements, and this is the perfect answer to that. And then next turn we can probably Saint before we Jarl. Even with him gaining 4 life, we're going to stay ahead, so. Golden Saint's a lot of value for 6 magicka if you can reliably trigger it. The deck list is posted on the left, so you can take a look at that. Interesting, right? Okay. So we do have to swing before we Jarl, and we don't have an answer to that insane creature. We'll keep Dawnstar Healer in mind for the future, but that is interesting, right? Another Execute, not going to do much against the Spriggan right now. We're head on cards, head on board, head in life. Oh, yeah, I mean, he has a 10-5, that is true, but we should be able to figure something out what to do with that. Golden Saint from him is really nice. So now things aren't looking as good anymore. I don't think I have a way to answer that. First match with the aggro deck to face against the life gain deck is pretty brutal, isn't it? Well, we're gonna do what we can. Dawnstar Healer is part of the package we're running to trigger the Jarl and the Saint. It looks like my opponent's got the same idea. East March Crusader, great card. So hopefully, oh, another Saint. Alright. So we're still not answering his guy, I don't think. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so Spinner. Thank you. Not well enough though, this is still not going well. We're just pouring resources into this, and his life gain has been over the top. Yeah. I don't think we have a good play here. Now we kind of do. Actually, a Pyromancer in both lanes does some pretty good work for us. The temptation to Jarl is also pretty intense. I kind of like that. Okay, Golden Saint, Piercing Javelin, which would have been a nice prophecy to trigger, but this is an interesting match. I like, you know, you don't see a lot of monks on ladders, so seeing our opponent playing a monk deck is definitely intriguing. Okay, Fighter's Guild Recruit, Deshaun Avenger. It's going to be difficult for us to trigger any more Saints. But we can reduce our opponent to virtually no resources. I am fine with doing this, I think. Mage Slayer, again part of our Mage Slayer package, if you will. Part of the motivation to finally get off my ass and work on this deck has been the proliferation of Mage, so... Interesting. Okay, he gets that out of execute range. What am I doing here? I think we are just interested in pushing face damage. Again, putting this over here because it seems, even though there are no damage dealing spells except for Crushing Blow that we would even consider his deck running. No, there's perfect execute target. A charged creature would end up there, so. Senate of Valkosh is a card I've long enjoyed but haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to play with, so I'm excited about seeing how this works out. Is it Dawn's Wrath? Is that what we're playing? Murkwater Witch. Okay, taking out our Alkosh. Fair enough. That was a pretty good draw. Okay, and that should lock up the game. Sorry I'm getting a little quiet here. I mean, you know, having to think about what our opponent might be doing. Eastmarch Crusader. You know, Eastmarch Crusader into Dawn's Wrath. Still doesn't keep him alive. Face House Kinsman. A fine battle. And yeah, we're going to play it as safe as possible. There wasn't really much to worry about there, though. We're staying with a guy over here because we have guys on both sides and to swing for lethal. Alright, let's see what he brings to the table next time. That was a good one. Alright, Hyranic round 2, Indiana Jarls. I can't honestly even tell you why I named the deck that. I don't know. I think originally I was calling it Project Indiana for some reason because I thought it was funny. And then I started thinking about Jarl, and then I started thinking about Indiana Jones. Okay. Round 2, our starting hand. I've looked at a lit, it's really not what we want to be doing in the beginning. Earthbound Spinner, so this deck is probably trying to exploit equipment and high value creatures, so a silence is pretty useful there, but we kind of want to just clear all this out for our better early game. None of which we got. In fact, this hand is considerably worse. We got way too greedy there with our mulliganing. Oh, but rewarded with Alkosh. To avoid Sharpshooter Scout shenanigans, we're going to beef up our Alkosh. And aside from silences, there aren't a whole lot of answers to an Alkosh getting out of control early. Dawnstar Healer's pretty good. Put them each in different lanes. Force him to choose where he puts them. And our hand does nothing next turn, so we better hope that we hit for 7 and Don't hit any prophecies or any shenanigans, right? Haunting Spirit. Okay. Mage Slayer, so that at least gives us a play. And once again, we're just going all in. Put the Mage Slayer over there. To potentially contest a guard that he wants to put the +3/+3 on. That's pretty good. That is really good. So we're going to have to Piercing Javelin on that to keep the gravy train flowing. Afflicted Lit could be good eventually. This does keep us off Jarl for next turn, but we are so far ahead right now in life that I'm not worried about it. And he's got 9 cards, but this is why we play Triumphant Jarl and cards like Dawnstar Healer. Okay. So we're just going to keep going face. Neither one of these is great, but getting him to 6 is tempting, isn't it? So we'll keep the Pyromancer for a trick. We're far enough ahead that, you know, that might have been wrong. Enchanted Plate Mail. So we're lucky this isn't the guard one, right? We are definitely lucky it's not the guard one. Imp and a guard creature. Okay. So I think we are being punished a little bit for our transgressions. Interestingly enough, it almost seems more valuable to just Pyromancer and a Pyromancer over here, right? I mean, Pyromancer and a Pyromancer in either lane clears it. You know what, though? I think we see if we can't eke some more Pyromancer value out next turn. And that gives us lethal, the Afflicted Lit plus the Triumphant Jarl. So let's see what happens. Okay. Alakir Survivalist. Oh no. Well, he got us there. He definitely got us there. So now we're just going to try to ride these Pyromancers, is that right? Or do we just try to Blood Dragon him to death? Alright. So, I mean, another Silence plus a weapon on the Alakir gives him a way to kill that, although we still have the opportunity to steal Scimitar then on our Elit. Whatever this fine crocodile-esque gentleman is. Execute, it's not really going to get us anywhere. He's very likely, it seems like he's setting up for, what is he trying to play? Burn and Pillage wouldn't kill a dragon. So I don't know what's about to happen. Were they? Seems like you're doing pretty well. Interesting. Well, there's an answer to a taunt creature. Really? He has lethal? Alright. And there's our Burn and Pillage, which we're not going to play because we're not an asshole. And Hyranic's a friend and a good guy, so. But you see the power of Burn and Pillage when you spent the early game racing forward. And of course there you also see the I'm chatting with Hyranic in between rounds. You also see the power of gaining a bunch of life and then just kind of stalling out for a little while until you find stupid little creatures to win the game with there at the end. Okay, last one of our 3-game series with Indiana Jarls, Crusader, mid-range, aggro. You know, it's an aggro deck in the beginning, but it curves out into some big things. You know, if you have any questions about card choices, this deck is still in the beta, if you will. Version 0.6, as you saw. So I'm more than receptive to ideas about how to make it better. Rift Thane's pretty good pickup for turn 2. Like Scouting Patrol, part of the reason we play cards like Scouting Patrol and is to try to stay ahead of Archer in the life race in the beginning of the game. That, of course, makes that a little bit more challenging. Now I think we just Scouting Patrol, right? Yeah. Let's see here. You know, we're only running 2 Divine Fervors. Thank you. Is it a, what is it that's going to end me here? Tree Minder, okay. Tree Minder's interesting. So now the question kind of becomes, do I want a 2-4? Because right now I can play him out as a 2-4 with guard. Nah. No, we do not. I think we do want to trade that out, though. Just keep the good times rolling. No plays next turn. We are out of cards at hand except Blood Dragon. We'll see what happens. We may have overcommitted there. Although, you know, our hand kind of led itself to playing one way and one way only. Mage Slayer. I'd like to see a fellow Mage Slayer player. Interesting. So we're just going to start the life gain train. Next turn we got Blood Dragon, which you almost definitely want to always put in the Shadow Lane. It doesn't matter that much probably in this matchup, but I think that's, I'm pretty sure that's where it belongs. Oh no, Skaven Pyromancer? That seems brutal right now. That seems really brutal. Okay, he just wanted to draw himself a card. Okay. Well, there's only one play. Now we'd love to draw a Triumphant Jarl. Golden Saint be a lot of value as well. Honestly, any card in our deck really is a reasonable draw at this point. Haunting Spirit. Execute. I take that back. I was way off. Execute is not a good draw. I don't see a reason to attack right there. You know, with 6 on board, yeah, it just doesn't seem like a huge reason to do that. Like, there is a huge reason to do that. Ooh, nice. Okay, well, execute. Another awful draw. We're just going for it. We have no... Oh, brutal. Well, fortunately, we have nothing worth silencing. I mean, you know, he has to silence something, but he will silence one of these guys. Does it not trigger when you get that? I did not know that. Oh, here we go. Okie dokie. I believe we have to Earthbone Spinner this guy. And now he just needs to slam that Daedric Dagger on there to kill our other guys, right? I don't think we're winning this one, boys. I do not believe we are winning this one. Yep. Well, we're totally out of anything. We're not winning this game. I mean, you know, yeah, Jarl, but... afraid it's a little too late. So what this deck is trying to do is be a meta answer deck, right? It's full of answers to tokens, and it is full of answers to mage. Now the question, of course, becomes: did we put those cards together into some sort of coherent deck? And the answer is no. And he's playing out his hand, so cool. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That is a preview of the new deck that I'm working on. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to build it and leave me ideas about what you do with it if you feel like you can improve it. And I'd love to hear that. So I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.